Tonight, more lives at stake as the Tamale Teaching Hospital sacking controversy erupts into a full-blown standoff, with the health minister yet to render the unqualified apology demanded by striking health workers.
Upon arrival, we were informed that the doctors are not on duty. We are kindly requesting that they return to work, as we do not know where else to take the patient.
We'll hear from the health minister, who appears to be standing his ground tonight.
I'm not a perfect human being, but I listen, and I'm prepared to work with everybody in the sector.
I have absolutely no intention to disrespect any medical doctor or any health worker. That will be the last thing I will do. But indeed, let it be said that respect is also reciprocal.
We'll tell you why the controversy has taken a bipartisan and partisan turn, with the NPP minority taking the side of the striking health professionals.
The things that they have asked for, I wouldn't say they are too far-fetched. They're asking for an apology from the minister, which will serve as a deterrent, because the Tamale Teaching Hospital has had a history.
Top story is, as always, brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. My name is Fostina. Sarfo, please stay for details. Tonight, the Tamale Teaching Hospital sacking controversy has erupted into a full-blown standoff, with more lives at stake as all health services, including emergency care, remain suspended. The health minister, Mensah, is yet to render that unqualified apology demanded by the striking doctors. The minister has come under heavy backlash after doctors at the facility suspended emergency and outpatient services indefinitely, demanding an apology for what they describe as the minister's, quote, demeaning and unacceptable treatment, unquote, of one of their colleagues during a recent official visit. But in a bid to douse the flames, the minister maintains his actions were never meant to offend. Today, he donated 35 different pieces of medical equipment to the Tamale Teaching Hospital. But notably absent, really, was that apology that doctors have been calling for.
I know that when it comes to issues of the health sector, emotions are very high. We are all into this together, and I believe everybody wishes well for the sector. Arguably, I know this sector is one of the most important and critical sector we all need to pay a particular attention to. This morning, as has already been indicated, I have some equipment, some consumables, and some medicines to be donated to Tamale Teaching Hospital. In my humble opinion, every life in this country matters. And so I have come with an open mind, with new energy, and with your cooperation, I know we are going to achieve a lot together. I can understand. The system has been like this for a very long time. And so coming up with a new strategy, with new leadership, may be a bit difficult. But I can assure you, we must all have the ordinary Ghanaian in mind, that at the end of the day, we are all serving the people of this country. Let it not be said that due to the scarce resources we have at our various health facilities, the poor man, the helpless Ghanaian's life has been sacrificed. My doors are widely opened. I'm not a perfect human being, but I listen, and I'm prepared to work with everybody in the sector. And so let's all come together and work together for the betterment of the health sector. It can happen to everybody. It happened to me when I had an accident. The first place I was rushed to was Nyahini District Hospital. I never imagined that I would one day be at Nyahini District Hospital. But I was there. And so today, sitting at where I sit, I will contribute my quota to the development of this sector. I have absolutely no intention to disrespect any medical doctor or any health worker. That will be the last thing I would. But indeed, let it be said that respect is also reciprocal. I know that for the past 2-3 days, I have been speaking to stakeholders in this sector. And please, it isn't everything we can put out there as leaders. I am prepared for us to come around the table and discuss whatever we need to discuss. And so my humble appeal to my wonderful medical doctors and health professionals at Tamale Teaching Hospital is that I am the first person to take care of your interest. And therefore, let's call off the strike and let's all regroup and strategize going forward. There are some of the things we can easily do with our internally generated funds. Please, let's confront the issues as they are. It is just not sustainable for government to keep donating equipment to health facilities, and at the end of the day, when the equipment are obsolete, we run back to government for money to either maintain or to replace this equipment. Once at least, even if we are not charging the requisite fees, we generate something small out of these machines. What happens to the money? There must be a new direction. And we all group together and think through it. Maybe I'm looking at it from a different direction. We'll share ideas. Let's pursue the interests of the ordinary Ghanaian.
Well, my colleague Collins Frimpong was there the whole day. He joined me in the studio with details of that and more. You posed a direct question to the health minister. What was his response?
The response from the health minister was that he doesn't want to talk about it because the donation that he is making is what he wants to make the headline. But he believes that he has already made his point, and what he did, he had no ill intention behind it.
But Honorable, the doctors are on strike and they have one particular demand that yes.
That is what I mean. I've seen them request some equipment and what have you. So this is what I'm doing.
No, but there is one particular thing that they are requesting for, that if you do not come out to apologize to them, they are not calling off the strike.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you heard there, Kwamna Minta Kando. He is the health minister. Well, the Ghana Medical Association, they are standing with the striking doctors at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. They are insisting that only a public apology will get them to consider lifting the suspension of healthcare services. Let's listen to Dr. Richard Salome. He is General Secretary of the GMA.
Nobody has reached out to us, to the best of my knowledge. And we want to sit down with them, have a proper holistic discussion of the matter, and we think that apologies can be cordially done.
What is negotiable and what is not?
Well,
based on the things the list of demands, is apology negotiable?
No, it's not.
So that's one of the.
We think our minister is reasonable. We think a minister can place a call and call this young gentleman even to Accra, and turn this quote unquote bad situation around into a good story. You want a private apology or a public apology? Of course, he can meet him, have a good discussion, and probably sit by the media and talk to him as a young colleague.
I mean, we need clarity. We want a public apology.
We definitely want that. Would be the best, because what incident happened in public. And I'm sure you saw how Suhini was shouting. People were rushing back at the doctor and making him seem as if he was just
the other list of items, the gauze, the plasters.
These are things that can be easily bought.
Are they negotiable?
Well, at the heart of this standoff between government and health workers are patients, many of whom are now being turned away following the doctor's decision to suspend critical services indefinitely. We'll be touching base with our correspondent Martina Bugri shortly, that is currently in the Tamale Teaching Hospital. She'll be joining us with details. She has been engaging patients affected by this ongoing industrial action. Martina Bugri will be joining us shortly, but let's listen to some of the patients and we'll be back.
We have brought our patient who has swollen body and is in pain. However, upon arrival, we're informed that the doctors are not on duty. We are kindly requesting that they return to work, as we do not know where else to take the patient in their current state.
Well, you heard a patient there. Martina Bugri is joining us live from Tamale. Martina, briefly tell us the update on that meeting. We know that the minority, they've been engaging members of staff at the hospital. What's the update?
So the meeting brought together key people at the facility with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. They were given the opportunity to bear out the challenges that is hindering their work, and they had so much to say. They talked of how they have to travel to other regions for some of the basic services that should exist in the hospital. They mentioned that the CCT scan they had was not even fit for a district hospital, but that's what the Tamale Teaching Hospital was using before it actually broke down. And they had to travel to Kumasi for some other services. And so if you cut off from the 1.5 or 2 to the northern region, the upper west, all those specialist machines that they would need, they would have to travel to Kumasi for such service.
Okay.
And
Martina, stay with me because
was,
right now I have with me Dr. Kingsley Ajiman. He's a member of the Health Committee in Parliament, a minority member of the Health Committee in Parliament. Thank you so much for your time here on Top Story. You were in Tamale today. You engaged with the members of staff there. What was their response?
Thank you very much, and a very good evening to all your listeners. I must say that the situation in Tamale Teaching Hospital is very concerning. It's not something that we can be very proud about. Maybe a quick refreshment of the chain of cohesion. So a minister visits a facility, goes on a tour, gets onto the A&E section, the red zone section. There's a banter, open confrontation, open discussion, because he has entered to inquire about the conditions that surrounded loss of a patient. There was a great exposure, a lot of issues, which was a spectacle. Subsequent after, the day after, the minority issued a statement to the effect that the sacking of the CEO was inappropriate because he didn't follow due process. He demanded for an apology to the doctor and for them to at the A&E department, and also called for restoration. Thereafter, the Doctors Association of the Teaching Hospital also issued a letter, somehow reinforcing what we have stated. And later in the day, the GMA, the Ghana Medical Association, comes to collaborate or corroborate what we said earlier.
And these are details that we're well aware of. I just want you to just brief me on the update on that meeting you had today.
The day after, the suspension of all emergency OPDs have been withdrawn. It trickles down to the polyclinics. We engage the Doctors Association in a conclave, and they are not asking too much. We pleaded with them, and there has been a position of the minority. I don't know if they have seen our press statement asking them to go back to work. We impressed upon them, and they made a very good. Their body language was quite positive. We just pray and hope that this whole thing is we get over it. But we have to speak plainly on this. If the restoration of services is made contingent on an apology from the current health minister, then I can say that regrettably we may lose a lot of lives. That notwithstanding, I mean the minister might have gone to the facility with good intentions, but honorable, respectfully, your good intention is not what we are witnessing. Huge problems at the TTH. Emergencies have been suspended. The doctors are calling for an apology. You have donated items, which was one of the issues that they brought up. I'm not sure he's too huge to render an unqualified apology.
The minority, you agree that indeed he should render that apology, because today he tried. He said respect is reciprocal. He tried. He said that indeed what is going on, he meant no harm. He did not mean to disrespect anyone. In your engagement with the doctors, did they accept this as enough grounds to return to work?
No, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't. That's why we are appealing to them that if one life was lost, and as a result of the withdrawal of services, we are likely to be losing more. Because if you do a scan of the 5 northern regions, among the one top percent causes of death is what we call the RTA, road traffic accident. Now, if there's any accident and it is rushed to any of the emergency in the teaching hospital, they will not be catered for. And it's the only teaching hospital within the 5 northern regions. That's the more reason we are of the view that we appeal to them that they have worked under very hard circumstances, hard conditions. They should just look beyond the attitude of the minister towards them and go back to work. I mean, respectfully, if the honorable member is saying that respect is reciprocal, then let's go back and do basic arithmetic. If you remember back in school, in balancing an inequality, what did we usually do? There was this general maxim that goes like, whatever you do to the left-hand side, you do to the right-hand side of the equation. Is that not it? So we are requesting for this. Do it. As soon as render, they also come back and also render an apology to you. Because anytime there's conflict, it's about two people or two parties. I believe that the people of the northern region should not be exposed to this situation where emergencies have been withdrawn. New admissions are not being made at the OPD, a facility that before the strike, you go and it's so busy. Today, it is so silent. And the people are suffering.
So despite your pleas, the industrial action continues unabated? Is that the case?
Yeah, that is what it is looking like. Because they are still on strike. They are still striking. That is why we are saying that yes, my colleague, the minister, I mean, might have gone to Tamale with good intentions, but the outcome is not what he intended. An apology will be in order. At the same time, we are appealing to the doctors to look beyond what they are seeking the minister to do and render their call off their strike and render their services to the people. Because you see, I wish you were in Tamale today. It is not something that we can be proud of. The people of the North deserve a facility and they must be taken care of, respectfully. This is not negotiable, please.
And what are you going to be doing moving forward, knowing fully that your negotiations has failed?
So, what can we do? As a minority, we'll keep doing what we need to do. We have issued a statement to the effect that they should call off the strike. I'm surprised you don't have a copy. I'll share a copy with you after the meeting. And we can just appeal. But, Bravo Akando, respectfully, I know how hard you have worked through the ranks to get to where you are. You are not an arrogant person, and I'm not sure you will want a death of another person or a death of other people to be ascribed to you by the action that went on at the A&E section of the hospital. Respectfully, in the supreme interest of public order, in the supreme interest of making sure that we serve our people, and I know introspectively, I know what you can do. Please, let's do it for the doctors. The doctors, while we wait for the minister, we appeal to you on the minority that please, respectfully, look beyond the action that happened. That is past. There's a lot that is ahead of the facility.
Okay.
There's a lot that needs to be delivered to the people of Tamale and its environment. Please call off this strike and give your best as you always do to the people of the North.
Thank you, Dr. Kingsley Ajiman. He is a member of the Health Committee in Parliament. Now, Martina is still with us. We're just checking up on updates from Tamale. Martina, you have engaged patients affected by this ongoing industrial actions. We've heard from a member of the Health Committee in Parliament that the doctors are standing their grounds. This strike will continue unabated. But then you also engaged the management of the hospital. What are they saying? Martina, I'm asking, you've been engaging the management of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. What's their posture after that meeting with doctors? Unfortunately, I seem to have lost Martina Bugri, but we have also been hearing from Dr. Sarfo Al-Hassan. He is spokesperson on behalf of management of the hospital. They have just been sharing their thoughts about this industrial action. He's quite optimistic that it will be called off shortly. Let's listen to him.
As management, we saw their news, we saw their press statements in the media space, and we were yet to give an official copy. And so it was this morning that we met them, and then they told us they were yet to give us a copy. And they explained that the officer that was involved in the exchanges was traumatized. And mind you, this is a leader who trains house officers, who trains residents. So it's like a model in the medical fraternity. It's also the head of the accident emergency sub BMC. And so if he's down, it affects a lot. Even though on the day of the incident, management invited him and we spoke to him. Yes, and I think we're able to allay, the fears. So today we pleaded with them, and then we also took the opportunity to ask the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, who also visited us today, to add their voices, and they did. So we are hopeful that by tomorrow or latest today, we should be hearing good news that they have laid down. They've called on this one, and they have rescinded their decision.
You heard there Dr. Sarfo Al-Hassan. He is spokesperson for the management of Tamale Teaching Hospital. Martina joins me now. I have clear connection to her. Martina, what else has he been saying, and what really is happening in Tamale tonight?
So as we speak now, before I left the hospital like 5 minutes ago, the doctors had not returned yet, and people who had come to wait the whole day had also left. Just a few were still there hoping that some magic would happen. Now, the sentiment you would hear in the streets of Tamale is this is probably a cause to change a lot at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. It may be unfortunate, but they think that it would help bring some sanity at the facility.
Thank you, Martina. I still have Collins Frimpong with me. We're just getting a sense of some of the items that the minister has donated to the hospital to help with the service there. Tell me some of the key items.
So today, the Minister of Health, Kobna Minta-Kando, handed over 35 different items to the new CEO of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. And quickly, some of the items included 3 Draga ICU ventilators, 6 Draga ICU cardiac monitors, as well as a Draga transport ventilator, and also 4 filter heart detectors, and also some other consumable items, including 20,000 face masks and also 500 assorted searches. So these are some of the equipment that the association, the Doctors Association in the Tamale Teaching Hospital listed that they are asking or demanding the government provide them.
And then government has done that today, providing some of these items to them. How soon will it reach them?
In about 24 to 48 hours, we should get the equipment and some drugs to the Tamale Teaching Hospital.
Thank you, Collins Frimpong. If you just tuned in right now, this is Top Store. We're just giving you updates that the Tamale Teaching Hospital staff, their industrial action continues unabated. They are still demanding an apology from the health minister. Today, he attempted to actually clarify some of the incidences that happened there. He says, unfortunately, he didn't mean to disrespect anyone, but he failed to render that apology. And for that reason, the doctors are still on strike. You're also listening to Top Story here. You can share your thoughts with us on all our social media handles. We're Joy News on TV. We're also Joy 99.7 FM. The number is 055 111 1997. And this is Top Story. We're still trying to get the majority just to get a sense of what exactly their posture would be now. Will indeed the health minister render that apology? Let me just speak right now on the phone lines. Dr. Mark Kirk, he is chairman of the Health Committee in Parliament. Thank you so much, Doc, for your time here on Top Story. The doctors are clear. They want an apology from the health minister. Will you ensure he does that?
Hello?
Hello, Doc. Good evening.
Yes.
We appreciate your time here on Top Story. The doctors, they want an apology. The health minister today failed to deliver that apology. Will you compel him to do that?
Let me say good evening to the viewers of Joy TV and say this, that the Minister of Health is the father of the health ministry. And as a father, sometimes you can have some skirmishes with your children. I mean your adult children. What I made them to understand is that if you see your father lying half naked or something that you have observed, what will you do? Will you cover him up or will you like to leave him naked? Or just get him out without any dress at all? And we also made them to understand that to apologize must be voluntary and it must usually come from the individual.
But the influence is beginning to bite hard, really. The impact of this industrial action is already beginning to bite hard. And all the doctors want is an apology. As chairman of the Health Committee in Parliament, won't you ensure that apology gets to them?
Oh, no, I informed them that as an individual, I don't have any problem apologizing to them. And indeed, I did plead with them.
But it's not your apology they want. They want the health minister to apologize. Will you ensure that he renders that apology?
To apologize is an individual decision. That, like I explained, it's an individual decision that the individual has to take. If you compel anybody to apologize, I wouldn't consider it as an apology. It has to come. Like the doctor involved, possibly he might also have some remorse about something that probably there was a nice conversation between them. Then somewhere along the line, they crossed the line. So I don't know whether that doctor would also like to say something, but it must come from them as individuals.
Okay.
Let us not put this thing before the whole healthcare system in Tamale and for that matter Ghana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mark Kirk. He is chairman of the Health Committee in Parliament. And that's how we wrap up Top Story. Up next is Newsnight.
On Newsnight tonight, President Mahama hit with fresh suit of allegations of unlawful handling and suspension of Chief Justice Getu Tokono. We speak to the Old Tafo MP who wants the Supreme Court to reinstate the suspended Chief Justice. And the Ghana Bar Association is tonight breaking a silence over the issue, asking all parties involved to let the rule of law prevail. We'll hear from them. Plus, we will delve into that very controversial judicial service travel policy that is dividing opinions.
You can go on unlimited official travels with your spouse and child, but you can't go on a vacation on 2 occasions with these same people. How absurd.
Oh, vacation. What has that got to do with the state coffers? If you are sending your husband and your daughter on a vacation for holiday, why should we pay them per diem? And you, a Japanese, you are defending this.
And we'll have the latest on the Financial Intelligence Centre's decision to freeze the accounts of Akunta Mining and the personal account of his owner, Andrew Boesiako. You know him as Chairman Wontumi. And we have the very latest also on the action they've taken on Macdan Group of Companies. You want to stay with us for that and more, plus in business.
Business World Bank analysis shows cedi has depreciated by about 4% to $1 so far this year.
And in sports, Ghana's boys and girls teams through to the semi-finals of the CAF African Schools Championships.
And later, CEO of Zoom Lion Ghana blames the company's poor sanitation service delivery on government's consistent delayed payments as he fends off push by district assemblies to take over sanitation management.
We normally even pre-finance the payment. For the past 2 years, payment have not been coming. And our financial partners who give us money, if they don't see payment coming, they also stop give us the money. So the reality and the truth must be told.
I want to hear from you tonight. 055-11-11997. Details after this.
Fix me go betete Ghana. No gari, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no.
Problem no day. I feel handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you fit get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you the want town. That *530#, then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel, connecting energies.
The books are in and the boots are out, guys. The kids have entered the building. The future of African football is happening right here in Legon Stadium, Ghana. This is history in the making. We are seeing the Nesta Pele, DJ Drogba, or Samuel Jan right here on the pitch.
Ghana, let's play now. Come support our future stars at the CAF African Schools Football Championship from April 21 to 26. CAF African Schools Football Championship. Engage, encourage, educate.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302-681582. This advert is FDA approved.
And you're also live, your News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. And to that developing story around the removal of the Chief Justice and a process that has commenced now, with the committee now beginning to hear the evidence against her, we are now learning of a memo from the Deputy Judicial Secretary to the Registrars of High Courts, Courts of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. And the subject is assignments of for newly filed cases or newly filed applications, and this is dated the 23rd of April 2025. It says, I have been directed by the acting Honorable Chief Justice, and that is Justice Bafoboni, who is now acting following the suspension of Gertrude Tokono, to inform you that all newly filed cases and applications must be brought to his attention for assignments of courts and impaneling of judges where there are more than one court, and for the fixing of dates for hearing. Now, take note that this directive supersedes all previous directives until further notice. Please accept the compliments of the Acting Honourable Chief Justice. And this is coming shortly after we learnt of a fresh suit that has been now filed, directed at the President over his decision to suspend Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono, MPP MP for Old Tafo, Vincent Ekosafua, who has already been in court to stop the removal process, has now filed this fresh suit asking the Supreme Court to reinstate the suspended Chief Justice. And we now know the acting Chief Justice has written this memo asking that every other case before all the courts now be brought to his attention for empanelling. Now, President Mahama, in consultation with the Council of State, we know suspended the Chief Justice on Tuesday in accordance with the Constitution after the establishment of a prima facie case arising from 3 separate petitions submitted against her. Now, the suspension has since sparked widespread public debate with the opposition New Patriotic Party criticizing the move as an attack on the judiciary. Before we hear from the Old Tafo MP, let's engage member of our Legal Affairs Desk, Kweku Asante, who joins us via Zoom right now. And Kweku, a lot is happening today and still around this particular subject. First, what are the reliefs being sought by the MP? Kweku, can you hear me? Okay, we'll try and get Kweku's attention pretty quickly and also fix a connection to him here on News Night. We'll also be speaking to the MP who has filed the case. And if you're just joining us, this memo that has surfaced tonight regarding cases at the courts, and it's on the orders of the acting Chief Justice, who has directed that informing all members of the Judicial Service, but also registrars, to be very specific, that applications must now be brought to his attention for assignments of courts and empanelling of judges where there are more than one court, and for the fixing of dates for hearing. And this particular case that is we now know is a subject of a suit that Ekosafua has brought, will also be dealt with. We'll speak to Ekosafua, who is joining us also right now. Do we have Ekosafua on the line? Vincent, can you hear me? Okay, we'll get into that pretty shortly. And as you know, the suit that has been filed today has several reliefs that Ekosafua is seeking. One of which is an attempt to stop the proceedings from going ahead because of the allegations that the process itself is flawed constitutionally. One of the key bases of this is as one, an order restraining any step or action from being purportedly taken as part of the processes for the removal of the Chief Justice under Article 146 or in any manner until the hearing and final determination of the instant action. An order suspending the operation of the warrant for suspension of the Chief Justice purportedly issued by the President under Article 146(10) of the Constitution 1992 until the hearing and final determination of the instant action, and any further orders at this honorable court may seem necessary. Well, today we know that there'll be more controversy on this particular subject, particularly this subject of the travel policy, really at the heart of the petition against the Chief Justice. Former MPP MP for 2nd D, Andrew Japamesa, says the Judicial Service's travel policy is absurd after the suspended Chief Justice was cited for paying per diems and buying plane tickets for her husband and daughter for holidays. Now, Gertrude Tokono, who has been suspended, insists she did no wrong and is backed by former Energy Minister Andrew Japamesa. He says it does not make sense that the state will fund family members to accompany the Chief Justice on official travels, but make no such arrangement for holidays. He was speaking on the Super Morning Show.
Paragraph A9 provides that, quote, the Chief Justice shall undertake unlimited official travels with either his or her spouse or other person of his or her choice in a year, fully funded by the Judicial Service.
But the National Communications Office of the NDC and CEO of Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, criticized the response of the Chief Justice to the allegations, which he has since been leaked. You may have seen that. We brought the details of that to you yesterday. He says it is unsatisfactory, the responses that she gave in her response to the petition.
It says where the Chief Justice embarks on a personal or private foreign travel, he or she shall be accompanied by the security alone. The security alone, if it is a private trip. If it is an official trip, she can go with 2 other persons of her choosing, and it can be a spouse and a child. Now, let's look at the response of the Chief Justice. He says, I opted to utilize the authorization in paragraph 9 and paragraph 10 of the travel policy. What does paragraph 9 and paragraph 10 of the travel policy say? It is the privileges she has to travel with 2 people of her choosing on official travels. Now, she says that she utilized paragraph 9 and paragraph 10 of the travel policy to travel with my spouse and my daughter during my 2 holidays. The 2 holidays were those holidays official trips or vacation. What has that got to do with the state office? If you are sending your husband and your daughter on a vacation for holidays, why should we pay them per diem? And you, a Japan Mensah, you are defending this.
Well, Andre Japan Mensah believes there wasn't enough basis to establish a prima facie case against the Chief Justice.
At first sight, on the first appearance, on the face of it, so far as can be judged from the first disclosure, presumably, a litigating party is said to have a prima facie case when the evidence in his favor is sufficiently strong for his opponent to be called on to answer. If the evidence that has been adduced is not disproved, then it is deemed to be true.
Your point here was that the responses given by the CJ convince you, and so to you, there can't possibly be a prima facie case.
Absolutely. And so it confirmed the position that the NPP, everybody else, apart from the NDC.
If the president had not suspended her, justice administration could have suffered, in the sense that the Chief Justice, who has administrative oversight over the entire judiciary and, for that matter, the administration of justice, will obviously be busy mounting a defense for herself at or before the committee which has been set up by the president to investigate this matter. Number 2, the Chief Justice herself, in all fairness to her, needs all the time she can get to prepare adequately to defend this matter. Because we all get a sense that she intends to fight this matter to its logical conclusion. And she must be given the time, okay, and the attention she needs to be able to do that. And then finally, one of the reasons why people are asked to step aside pending the outcome of the investigations is so that they do not take advantage of their positions of privilege to interfere with the investigations.
Let's look at this travel policy a bit closer. I want to bring in Kweku Asante. He joins me now on phone. Kweku, we have a copy now. What does it say exactly? Because the Chief Justice references that to justify why she traveled with the spouse and the daughter. And the allegation is that she spent $30,000, 480,000 cedis equivalent there, plus more than 200,000 just to facilitate the particular trip. What do we know as far as that particular travel policy is concerned? What does he say?
The travel policy deals with official travels by the Chief Justice, private travels by the Chief Justice, as well as other justices of the Superior Court. As regards official travels of the Chief Justice, the Chief Justice is allowed to be accompanied by the security as well as other persons of the choosing of the Chief Justice in this matter. And it specifically says, for instance, that the Chief Justice shall undertake unlimited official travels with either his or her spouse or other person of his choice in a year, fully funded by the Judicial Service. That is an official travel. But if this travel is a personal travel by the Chief Justice, for instance, you look at Part B of this travel policy, it says that where the Chief Justice embarks on a personal or private foreign travel, he or she shall be accompanied by the security alone. The distinction is that if the Chief Justice is traveling on official responsibilities, which she has the opportunity to travel in an unlimited fashion, she's allowed to travel with the security and any other one person of her choosing, and that person will be taken care of by the state and will be paid half the per diem of the Chief Justice. However, if the travel is a personal travel, Section B2 of this travel policy says that personal or private foreign travel, the Chief Justice can only be accompanied by a security alone. And that is how it ends with regards to the Chief Justice Evans.
Let's do a quick refresher. What is the allegation against her again as far as this is concerned?
Evans, the allegation as contained in a petition sent by one Daniel Ofori is to the effect that the Chief Justice did travel out of the country on 2 different trips, one with the husband and the next with the daughter, and it was a private holiday travel. And the Chief Justice spent in excess of 260,000 Ghana cedis of public funds to pay for the foreign travels of both the husband, Mr. Francis Kofi Tokunu, and the daughter, Miss Edem Tokunu. And not only did that, but also paid $30,000 as per diem, I should say, for the husband and the daughter on these travels. With regards to this allegation, the Chief Justice response that is sent to the President, which we have received a copy, is to the effect that the Chief Justice elected to substitute the official travel allowance for this private travel. And so there's no denial that it was indeed a holiday, but she says that she was, according to the Judicial Service, she was allowed to actually substitute this and use the official travel arrangement to go. And that is why she did use that option and paid from state funds per diems and plane tickets for the daughter and the husband on that private trip to the U.S. and Arusha, Tanzania.
Kuku, thank you very much. And you can find more on this on myjoyonline.com and across our many social media platforms. But I want to bring in right now the Ghana Bar Association's spokesperson who is joining us right now on the line. Xavier Kuja speaks for the association. Xavier, thanks for your time here on Newsnight. And you're weighing in, and from what I understand, that you want all sides to be circumspect in this particular matter. What really is the concern for you?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. The concern is that it appears we as a people are losing the import of the constitutional process that is ongoing. The recent developments we've seen is that political actors, including some lawyers, unfortunately, have drawn some conclusions. Our understanding is that it's a process that is ongoing. Let us all be patient and restrain ourselves and let the process follow through to the conclusion, so that if a formal report on the conclusion of the process is put in the public domain, then everybody will be at liberty to have their own discussions in mind and even decide to take further steps as allowed under our laws.
Is it your wish that we don't discuss at all?
We can do education, but some people would agree with me that some conclusions have been drawn. Meanwhile, the committee to even determine the petition on its merit, the petitions on their merit, has just been set up. And they are supposed to do their work in camera. After that, the outcome will not be hidden from anybody. Once it's submitted to the president is under obligation to let us know the outcome. Then those who are aggrieved, maybe some we are led, there might have been some procedural impropriety, can go to court because the committee's decision is subject to the jurisdiction of the court.
I read your statement and you say that it is, quote, it is expected that persons who play even the minutest role in the process will bear in mind Article 296 of the 1992 Constitution on the exercise of discretion and will act in a manner that safeguards and enhances the independence and image of the judiciary. When you talk about persons who play a minutest role, who do you have in mind?
We have everybody else in mind, everybody else involved, in the sense that the discussions going on, we are all human, can influence or otherwise of the process, and that's what we don't want. Let's allow the process to flow without all these comments and conclusions. I think the conclusions are premature because the process has not come to an end. And it's not as if the process that has been triggered in a vacuum. It's a constitutional process that has been triggered. That is why those who feel that even the initiation of the process itself, they have a challenge with it, are in court. So those who think that there are issues like that, they should wait. At the end of it all, we'll get to know what it is. Now, I don't know how why people are even treating informal information relative to the petitions that have come to them, and they want to draw conclusions. As far as I am concerned, there has not been formal release of the petition and their content into the public domain. The only time I expect this to happen is after the 5-member committees work. That is when anybody else who says anything will be valid.
I mean, the position you're expressing is simply not practical. I mean, definitely, we've already seen parts of the petition now. We've put it out already. We put out the Chief Justice.
Is it formal?
Whether it's formal or
not, as a lawyer, I wouldn't
doesn't
speak
matter.
to that.
But of course, you're speaking as a lawyer. But this is a process that is unfolding on our behalf as the people of the Great Republic. And so, if it's out there, of course, we deserve to know. We deserve to discuss it. People have the right to come to their own conclusions based on what they've seen.
If the framers of the Constitution had wanted it to be public, they would have even allowed it to be aired on television for us to see. But the Constitution says that the committee's work shall be done in camera. But it doesn't say that the outcome shall remain that way. Definitely the outcome will come. I don't see why we are trying to jump the gun.
The constitutional process is very clear, and you've made the point. The committee's work is in camera, and it is in camera, but the petition and the response is out there. At least that brings a certain sunshine to all this, does it not? It is actually useful that we've seen all the petitions. We've also read the Chief Justice's response. So people actually get carried along the process, even if informally. There is some merit there.
Evan, what if it turns out that the committee has concluded this work and you've read through and realized that the petition you are dealing with now is not actually the petition that the committee has dealt with in camera? How would you react?
Well, it is a reason why I've heard civil society advocates and governance advocates make the point that it's time to amend that clause and make this public.
But we haven't amended it, so we have to go by the law as it is now.
But it is the intention, the positive, beneficial intention behind the suggestion that is actually playing out informally that yields the same benefit of transparency, even if it's.
Evan, the Constitution is a living organism. If upon implementation for a period, we think that we have a problem with it, it is good the President has even initiated, has put in place a committee to look at the Constitution again. But as it is today, that is what we have to do. The Constitution says that the proceedings shall be held in camera. That's why I pose the question. Would you be surprised, or what would be your reaction if at the end of the process, the petition that everybody is talking about now turns out not to be what has been put before the committee? How would you react? So as a lawyer, I will not dwell on what is not formally put in the public domain. I would wait. In any case, the doors will not be shut. The decision of the committee is subject to the jurisdiction of the court. And any citizen of Ghana, including the Chief Justice herself, can do that. And let us be mindful of the fact that the Chief Justice has just been suspended. It doesn't mean that she's no longer the Chief Justice. That conclusion has not been arrived at yet. They are just saying that step aside because of the circumstances of this process for us to get back to you as to what your position will be relative to the outcome of the committee's work.
You also say that it is your hope and belief that the, quote, actors involved in the whole process will have the time-tested tenets of the rule of law as their guiding principles and in its application follow the spirit of the law. I mean, this is stating the obvious. This committee is chaired by a Supreme Court Justice. Must the GBA feel the need to pull this out?
We feel the need to put it out because, as I mentioned earlier, it appears many people are losing focus of the constitutional process. But rather, the political angle is what is being discussed.
Yeah, but you're addressing the committee now.
And we think that I think that encouraging and entreating somebody to adhere to what he already knows is no offense. It's no offense at all.
But it can also be seen as
the two Supreme Court judges there. I know them personally. I know the substance they are made of.
Yeah, but that is why going public to say to them that you hope that they will follow the rule of law and the guiding principles. It's superfluous.
Evans, we never single them out. We said all actors, including the political actors who are showing sympathy. Just that they are acting as if they are the main people involved. The only politician involved in this whole process is the president. That's the only politician. And he himself is not acting as a politician, but he's acting as the president of Ghana, because that is the designation given to him in the constitution.
And finally, you say that the GBA shall carry out its mandate to defend, strengthen, and enhance confidence in the justice delivery system in Ghana. What's your main concern here when you make that point, that the outcome of this, either way, whether she is exonerated or she's actually removed, will leave the judiciary in tatters?
No, Evans, all we're saying is this. Once due process has been observed throughout the process, or the dealings of this issue, then there shouldn't be any issue. That is why I made a point that at the end of it all, there will be avenue for anybody who feels aggrieved to take the next step, especially to the court.
Thank you very much. That's Sabia Kuja there is the spokesperson for the Ghana Bar Association. I want to hear your thoughts on the position of the bar on this particular matter. Shared with me at 05511119997, and I will share it with the rest of the world. Well, tonight we've also been learning an action taken by another state institution. The Financial Intelligence Center is the latest war against money laundering and its other irregularities in the financial sector. The center has frozen the bank account of Akonta Mining and its owner, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, and Chubuesi Ako. You know him as Chairman Wuntumi. Pursuant to the Anti-Money Laundering Act, the Financial Intelligence Center, we now also know, has also written to mark down group of companies. My colleague Latif Idris is joining me right now with a bit more on this. I want to start with what we're learning tonight about the letter written to McDonald. What do we know?
Yeah, so this is a confidential letter we intercepted. It's from the Financial Intelligence Center, and it's confidential. So it's directed to the Managing Director, McDonald Group, Accra, and it reads, "Dear Sir, request for information." It says, intelligence received by the Financial Intelligence Center indicate that your outfit received and paid various sums of monies to several entities between January 2020 and December 2024. Pursuant to Section 36 and 37 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 Act 1044, kindly furnish us with the following particulars. 1. All electronic fund transfers conducted by your outfit from January 1, 2020 and December 31, 2024. 2. Copies of checks issued to third parties during the aforementioned period. And then 3. The financial institutions used to make the payments in question. Kindly note that pursuant to Section 37(4) of Act 1044, a response within 7 days would be much appreciated. Yours faithfully. And then this is by Kojo Chum Boafo, the Executive Officer of the Financial Intelligence Center.
And what do we also know about this Akonta Mining part of the action taken by the FIC?
Yes, so now it's confirmed that the FIC has actually frozen the bank account of Akonta Mining and also the owner of Akonta Mining. That's his Chairman Wuntumi. That's the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the opposition New Patriotic Party.
Okay, so some clarity there is important. As far as McDonald is concerned, they have not frozen the account. It's simply a letter written to them to provide information
regarding their bank accounts and some transactions
that they've done from 2020 to 2024.
Correct.
So that's the clarity there. But Akonta Mining, we're confirming that indeed they have frozen their accounts. And thankfully, we can speak to Andy Apiakubi. He's a member of the legal team for Akonta Mining. Thank you very much, Mr. Apiakubi, for your time here on Newsnight. If you can confirm that for me, that indeed your client's account has been frozen.
Yes, this morning I had information from my client that the account has been frozen, and we are expecting some of the processes for us to approve our petition in respect of the application to the court. Once mistake.
Sincere apologies there. Let's try and get a better connection to Andy Apiakubi. I'm struggling to hear what he's saying because of the connection to him isn't great. But if you're just joining us, he's just confirming tonight that indeed the Financial Intelligence Center, they are freezing the accounts of Akunta Mining. Akunta Mining belongs to the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, who is already embroiled in allegations of illegal mining that is a subject of a lot of questions by civil society. That we know it was also a subject of a petition that the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining had filed with the CID back under the previous administration, that they have complained since that nothing much has happened. There's been no significant movement on that particular subject since. He's now a subject of an FIC investigations, and his account, the account of Akunta Mining, has now been frozen. Hopefully we can get through to a better connection to Andy Apiakubi, who is lawyer. He's a member of the legal team for Akunta Mining. Just to get clarity, we were speaking to him a short while ago, but the line wasn't great. I want to hear from you if you have any thoughts on the stories you've heard so far, the story around what we are now learning from the corridors of the judicial service tonight, where the acting Chief Justice is writing to the registrars on all court officers to direct all cases to him for impandeling. And one of the cases that will immediately come before him is one that has been filed by MPP lawyer Kwasafua, who is seeking to stop. The process is currently underway to possibly remove the Chief Justice, including overturning the suspension of the Chief Justice. More on that on many social media platforms. Andy Apiakubi is back. Apologies to you. We had a terrible connection earlier, but you confirmed that this morning you got word from the FIC that your client's bank account have all been frozen, you were saying.
That's what I said.
Did he explain? Did they explain why they frozen the accounts?
No, they have not no communication whatsoever from any particular agency. He tells me that he got information from the bankers. So we are still waiting for the official communication to come from any of the agencies.
So to be clear, he wasn't written to directly. He got notifications from the bank account. So presumably the FIC would have written to the banks to freeze the accounts.
Exactly.
But they did not write to him himself to alert him.
No, he has no such communication. So we are hoping that by good now we are waiting for the official communication.
As his advisors, I wonder what course of action you plan to take on this.
Well, we need to go to court to state our case and seek the court information so that this order will be removed. So we are preparing to do.
So your position is that you may have to go to court to get a court to intervene on the matter?
We don't see any justification in this official action to freeze the account of both Akunta Mining and Chairman. We don't see any justification there.
And again, for clarity, because of the terrible line we have, so the frozen accounts includes that of Akunta Mining itself and the personal accounts of Chairman Wuntumi.
Exactly, that's what I have before.
I'm grateful. Thank you very much. And sincere apologies for the terrible connection to Andy Apiakubi there. But thankfully, he confirmed this for us. And he says that the cause of action could possibly be going to the courts. I want to bring in Tanko Zakaria Musa, is a private legal practitioner, joins us on the telephone line on this. Mrs. Zakaria, thanks for your time here on Newsnight. So this particular subject of the Financial Intelligence Center freezing accounts and writing to individuals and companies to provide financial transactions over, say, this in the case of Magdan, a 4-year period. Many will say sounds like a fishing expedition. Are they allowed with the blank check to do as they please, as they've done in the case of both Akunta Mining and now we're learning Magdan?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mensah, for having me. Yes, I mean, the financial intelligence sector, you have to look at what their obligations are. And to the extent that they are sources of transaction, they think that something that has to do with, money laundering, terrorism financing, or anything to do with criminal, enterprise going on. They have authority to look in. Of course, they would not tell us what they do as the thing, but they would first have to establish that really something has gone. Once they come to that social control, there's the authority put in their account. And I heard you came to my learned friend earlier on when he said that notified bank that notified them. Yes. I mean, sometimes if you notify the person might probably as well, let's take certain to, change like the complexion of that account. Sometimes they would not. Rather, the notification, the order would financial institution and ask them. But sometimes, because the financial institution, the judiciary relationship line, they would notify you. If they text a comment that, for ABC, you may not have an account. And it's an institution that has certain powers. But judicial authority rests with the judiciary. So when they embark on some of these acts, and whoever is affected is satisfied their action, the person has the right to go to court and ask the court propriety or otherwise of their action. And at that time, the courts would invite for the center to come there and justify for their free opinion. If they are not able to provide sufficient basis to freeze it, then of course, whoever has his account can get it.
Thank you very much. And again, the terrible connection to him. Tango Zakaria Musa is a private legal practitioner. I will be sharing your thoughts really shortly, and many of you have reached out already with thoughts on the stories you've heard so far from Top Story, with the standoff at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, or through to the ongoing process to evaluate and interrogate the evidence brought against the Chief Justice that may lead to her removal, and the memo authorized by the acting Chief Justice, Justice Bafo-Bonny, on all cases currently before the courts being submitted to him for impaneling. All that plus, indeed, the decision by the FIC to freeze the personal accounts of Chairman Wontumi and the account of his company, Kunta Mining, but also the letter they've written to McDan asking for further and better particulars around transactions that he may have made between 2020 and 2024. Let's do business now, and I'm joined in the studio by James. Hello, James.
Hi, Evans. Also coming up in business this evening, World Bank analysis shows cedi has depreciated by about 4% to $1 so far this year, and the International Monetary Fund expresses commitment to assist Ghana and other African countries hit by current global tariff war. Business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essentials, Syntex tanks and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. For call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Hey, dear Niham Sa. Yes, taste of concentrate fabric softener. I was such it move. Yes, send it this way. You hear my tina watch it. You hear it now watch it. No, be a baby, some was some demoni in us. Dear Niham say. Fair quiet, yes, in Biara Association Ontario. Uses taste soft and you hear it now watch it. Nani boss to tap from cry. A fabric softener. A year near says, sir. Choose to stay soft. No, no, so say, you know. FDID a dreading crowd to yet.
Welcome back to Business on News Tonight. I am James Shen. We settle for the details now. And the Ghana cedi has depreciated by about 4% to the US dollar so far in 2025. The World Bank in April 2025 revealed, the World Bank April 2025 Africa Pulse report has revealed this is one of the best performances in recent times.
In 2024, the cedi lost over 17% in value to the American greenback. In Africa, the CFA franc used by most Francophone West African countries is the best performing currency, appreciating by about 2.0% to the American dollar. According to the World Bank, the weakest performing currencies over the past year were the South Sudanese pound, the Ethiopian birr, and the Nigerian naira, with reductions in value that exceeded 40% in 2024. It continued that as financial conditions became less restrictive and the gains from foreign exchange market reforms began to materialize, some African currencies gradually started to strengthen. For instance, the Kenyan shilling appreciated 20% throughout 2024 and has remained relatively stable in 2025. On the other hand, the South African rand and currencies that are pegged to the rand have fluctuated slightly in 2024 and so far in 2025 around the values registered by the end of 2023.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, the Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, has assured that the fund stands ready to assist Ghana and other African countries hit by the global tariff war. She disclosed this during the press conference on the sidelines of the IMF World Bank spring meetings. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
Speaking at a news conference in Washington, D.C., USA, the managing director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, noted that the fund has the needed financial muscle to support any country when the request is made.
Always we would be there for our members. We are focusing on what we do best, policy advice, and when necessary by providing financial support.
The managing director of the IMF, however, noted that some countries in Africa, including Ghana, need to take some tough measures, including improving domestic mobilization to help complement efforts by the IMF.
Continue on a path of strengthening your fundamentals. There is still a lot that can be done on the fiscal side, and don't use any excuses around, it's difficult, we can't really go for more tax, because yes, you can.
She also highlighted the need for more intra-regional trade in these challenging times.
Remove the obstacles to it, that infrastructure obstacle to growth and trade.
The IMF managing director noted that even though she does not expect the current tariff war to badly hit all African countries, she is worried about the indirect impact of most countries in the region.
And that was George Uriafe there with the report. To some other stories now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Venture Capital Trust Fund, Michael Abbey, has reiterated the fund's commitment to enhancing its operational efficiency. According to him, the initiative is aimed at scaling up support for small and medium-sized enterprises across the country. He made these remarks at the Ghana Venture Capital Conference and the launch of the fund's 20th Anniversary Impact Report in Accra.
We are having conversations and in the process of establishing two funds into the future, and that is for us to support government of Ghana's programming initiative and specifically supporting government Ejumera program. And so we are looking at establishing what we call the Ejumera Fund, which may be looking at businesses that operate in four main areas: businesses that are into the tech space, businesses that may be women-owned or women-led, businesses that are into agri-tech.
And that was Michael Abbey, Chief Executive Officer of Venture Capital Trust Fund. Now, the Design and Technology Institute has organized a strategic stakeholder engagement aimed at identifying key challenges contributing to the persistent mismatch between graduate skills and industry demands, particularly within Ghana's technical and vocational education and training sector. Founder and Chief Executive of Design and Technology Institute, Constance Swanika, emphasized the urgent need to prioritize education as a foundational pillar in repositioning TVET as a driver of economic transformation.
We have a local content bill, but yet a lot of industries are bringing in foreign labor rightfully so, under the pretext that, I wouldn't even use the word pretext, with the complaint that the quality of graduates that are coming out are not fit for purpose. But industry also has a role to play when it comes to investment in education to ensure that our people are well transitioned into work with the sort of skill sets that industry is looking for. So this is really a call to action for industry to really understand that the job creation agenda is a bridge between academia and industry.
Constance Swanika is the founder and Chief Executive Officer of Design and Technology Institute. Now, Accra Marriott Hotel, one of the leading 5-star hotels in Ghana, is promising to offer patrons outstanding hospitality services as it marks its 7th year of operations in Ghana. Speaking at a soiree to mark the 7 years of excellence, General Manager Luciano Shelza outlined plans to make it Ghana's preferred hospitality facility while it expands its operations and contribute to the country's economy.
Opening a new hotel is already a challenge, but opening during that time, it was an extra challenge. But despite all the challenges, we turned them into opportunities. Definitely, as Mr. Bill Marriott, our honorary chairman, says, success is never final. We never settle. We always look for opportunity to do more and more, especially when it comes to our guests and our service provided to them. Our guest promise is wonderful hospitality always. So we always find ways to improve our guest journey, but also we want to improve the journey of our associates, our people. And being a big company here in Ghana, we really want to take care of the young talents and the young promising people here in Ghana and developing them, being part of this big company which will give them a big career opportunity in the world.
Luciano Shelza is the General Manager at Accra Marriott Hotel. And that's all for business on Newsnight with me, James Evans.
James, thank you very much. We can do sports now, and Cranting is here with the latest.
Let's go straight into the stories. And Ghana's boys and girls teams booked their spots in the semi-final of the ongoing CAF African Schools Championships. The girls team, the Black Damsels, picked up a 2-0 win over Benin in their second group game earlier today. The boys team, the Black Comets, also sealed a 1-0 victory over South Africa, with Ignatius Hagan scoring the only goal of the game. Head coach of the side, Kweku Danso, says he has his eyes set firmly on the trophy.
There is much improvement than our previous match. As I told you earlier on, that I observed some things that need to be changed, and I intentionally did that. When you look at the squad, we changed almost all the squad, and then there is much improvement as compared to our previous. As for the ultimate, I've said it once and again that we are going to win the ultimate. That's our target, and we are working towards that. So we can assure you. I have my first team, and then those boys were in the first team. And this one, it was a strategy. We gave chance for those who haven't played to also come and exhibit their talent.
Now, the Ghana Olympic Committee will hold its elective congress on Saturday to select new leadership for the committee. The president of the Ghana Tennis Federation, Isaac Abuajidua, who is vying for the position of GOC treasurer, believes he should be given the nod due to his experience.
Been at GOC for the past 8 years. So first I came in as an executive board member, and then I was as assistant treasurer, assisting Fred Achi, with Benun Mensah as a president. I was lucky to be nominated to work with the Paris team as a chef de mission, and had a lot of interaction with a lot of federations. My boss, Achi, has declared that he has no intentions of contesting again. I think that based on experience that I've acquired and worked with the federations, speaking to them, they thought I'm best suited for that position as a GOC treasurer.
You're the president of the Ghana Tennis Federation, Isaac Abuaji. Bring that into sports. Back to you, Evans.
Thank you very much, Granting. And you're still live, your news night. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. A few of your messages now on our WhatsApp console. This one from Comrade Issa in Boko. He says, we urge you to reconsider your strike and prioritize patient care. The minister has provided explanations for his actions. Let's work together to find a solution that puts the well-being of your patients first. And you have one here from Fred. It says, did I hear the Chief Justice substituted her official travel for her vacation, and that was allowed by the Judicial Service? Question is that a norm for all staff of the Judicial Service? If you live in a glass house, don't throw stone, he says. Musa Abatua says it's puzzling that some MPP-aligned lawyers believe the Chief Justice should stay in the office despite the case against her and the possibility, says, of bias and interference. As a layperson, it's hard to understand what legal reasoning supports such a position, especially with new petitions coming up. And Sami says, I think until the Auditor General report is out on the judicial and the Judicial Service, questioning the CJ's travel, I do not think it should be part of the removal petition. And finally, Kofi Siri says, why should the doctors at the Tamale Teaching Hospital sacrifice the lives of Ghanaians on the altar of an apology? Is a question he's asking the doctors there. Now, 3 months after a devastating fire ravaged the Kantamanto market, traders there are slowly recovering from the disaster. Business has officially resumed. However, concerns linger over the lack of basic amenities like fire extinguishers, access to water, and reliable electricity, which traders say are crucial for their safety and business sustainability. In the latest episode of our fire series, Sarah Mensah returned to the Kantamanto market and filed this report.
Traders at the Kantamanto market are rebuilding after a devastating fire, but concerns remain over basic amenities like fire extinguishers, water, and electricity. The traders say their safety and livelihoods are at risk due to poor lighting, lack of water, and unreliable electricity. They appeal for urgent action to ensure a safe working environment.
Fire service for say dachi BBC a ombenya nsuo di aye adwuma enso omunya hwe
They should bring water to the market to make it easier for fire service vehicles to quickly access water to extinguish fires in case of outbreak. We have space in the market, but our leaders have closed all the spaces.
Say bisa omo say fence ECG for the light beba, ECG for the light beba, 2.5 months.
We used to have fire extinguishers in the market before the incident, but we lost everything in the fire. So we don't have anything to help quench fire in case there's another fire outbreak. We have no space in the market in case a car wants to come in here. Market manager Educhum Atamenu assures traders that concerns are being addressed. He says fire extinguisher distribution has begun and 30 poles have been donated for market lights.
So if we're able to have a mechanized borehole in the market, if there should be any fire, at least the availability of water will be ready for them to use to stop the fires. Formerly we had fire extinguisher, but because the fire started at the last scale, they were not able to use it to stop the fire. As I talked with you, our foundation has provided us with 1,000 bottles of fire extinguishers.
So when are you going to distribute them?
Distribution has already started. They have finished with our part. We also have a collaboration with the electricity company, and they have come and they have done their search, inspect the place and see that at least they will be able to provide them with about 30 poles. At least by next week, the All Foundation this thing project will start. They are wearing the whole market.
Market leaders deny allegations of planning to sell the market to All Foundation, a group assisting fire victims. The foundation's director of operations, Samuel Owusu-Setre, confirms they have no interest in buying the market.
At All Foundation, we are registered as a foundation, and under no circumstance will even government of Ghana be willing to even give us the land. It is never true. In fact, we can never buy the market.
The situation at Kantamanto Market remains a concern. Traders hope for swift action to address their safety and business needs.
And Sarah Mensah filed that report. Now, Chief Executive Officer of Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, Dr. Joseph Siai Japon, is tonight mounting a strong defense in the face of concerns by district assemblies that the company's sanitation services have been poor. Managers of the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies during a tour by Parliament's Committee on Sanitation and Water Resources complained about Zoom Lion's failure to deploy street sweepers and lift waste containers, a situation they say has led to the poor sanitation we currently see in their communities, raising the call for a termination of Zoom Lion's contract. Well, listen to the Director for Waste Management at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Engineer Solomon Noy.
If the responsibility for managing the waste solely lies on us as AMA or the assemblies, we will be held responsible and we know what to do when the situation arises.
But the CEO of Zoom Lion, Dr. Joseph Siai Japon, is defending the position of the company, blaming the situation on government for failing to release funds on time.
What we are saying is that the challenge is not from us. The challenge is beyond us. It's a means of why resources are not available. But for the work, we understand it and we have been working. I think you all could attest when they entered, they saw so many tricycles that we have, more than 2,500 warehouses. Trucks, we have about abundance, about 100 and other things up. But when you are working and people are littering, no a task force to ensure that this thing doesn't happen. Now, with people who are not working, the sweeper you don't see, they have not been paid for 2 years. And if you are being paid allowances and you are not being paid for 2 years, it's difficult for you to work. And so we have worked with them for past 17 years. We have consistently paid them and pre-finance. We normally even pre-finance the payment. But for the past 2 years, payment have not been coming. And our financial partners who give us money, if they don't see payment coming, they also stop give us the money. So the reality and the truth must be told. Look at the past 15 years of Zoom Lion's attitude and what is happening now. You could see the difference that it is not fault of us. It's fault beyond us. And the reality and the truth must be told.
And that there is the CEO of Zoom Lion, Dr. Joseph Siai Japon, and some news just coming in that one person has been shot dead in what eyewitnesses say is a clash between a group of military men and some youth of Yinahene in the Ashanti region. The 3 others have sustained injuries. You want to go on to myjoyonline.com and across our many social media platforms for the very latest on that developing story. Plus, our top story this hour: Acting Chief Justice Bafo Boni directs registrars at Superior Courts to report all new cases to him for judge and date assignment, and that will include that case that has just been filed by the MP for Old Tafo, who is seeking to stop the process to remove the Chief Justice, but also reinstate the Chief Justice who has been suspended. Enjoy the rest of your evening.